You said it might be a choice between recession or high inflation for longer. Is it now a choice between recession and financial instability or higher inflation for longer?
So that's an important addition. I think for certain countries, especially those who are importing the US monetary policy but do not have anywhere near the robustness of the US, that's a real issue. Yeah. And we've got to somehow figure out how to go through this. John, you and I know that we tend to focus on interest rate risk, particularly what the Fed's going to do, and on credit risk, economic conditions, etc. We tend to ignore liquidity risk, and that is something that we need to pay a lot more attention to.
Well, we've been paying attention to that in the UK in a major way this week. Mohammed, we've seen the Bank of England driven to intervene at the long end of the gilt market. We saw the BOJ in the last week have to come in and step into the FX market, support the Japanese yen. The ECB, before any of this, had to set up an instrument to get ready to put a lid on Italian yields as they set to raise rates even further. China's been warning investors that they're willing to step in. Mohammed, we talked about this earlier this week. Who's next? Who's willing to blink, and can we get to that equilibrium, that new equilibrium, without central bank intervention every step of the way?
That's the major question. And these interventions, to be clear, are temporary. I think you used the word Band-Aid. We call it plaster here in John, but you know, these are just Band-Aids. And it tells you that the global economy is not clearing on its own, or if it's allowed to clear on its own, there's going to be a lot of collateral damage. You know my view, when you distort an economy for so long, getting out of the distortion is by definition problematic. And that is what we're learning. But we have no choice to get out of the distortion, because if we don't, the inflation issue is going to be even more problematic. I think you and I have been warning people, all of you who are looking for a pivot, be careful what you wish for, because this pivot only happens if you have an economic accident or financial accident. And the journey to an economic and financial accident is a very painful journey.